Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope all of you are doing good. Welcome to my channel, Materi XI. In this video, I'm going to explain about an analytical exposition text. What is that? Take a look about it. Can you see this picture? And this one? Yes. And honestly, we can find the situations in those pictures around us easily. Am I right? Yes. And if I give you two statements, the first one is people should stop using plastic bags. And the second, plastic bags should be banned. Do you agree with those statements? Yes, you may agree or not agree to those statements, as long as you have the strong arguments to support your decisions. Okay, there is the analytical exposition text. An analytical exposition text is a part of argumentative text. Okay, now we go on to the definition. What is analytical exposition text? Yes, an analytical exposition text is a text that writers explore or elaborates their arguments or opinions about phenomena, about something, about events surrounding us. Okay, you got the definition? Okay, what is the function? Okay, now I'm going to tell you. The function is to persuade the readers that the topic is important to be discussed. And the second one, the function of an analytical exposition text is to persuade the readers that the arguments is really need get attentions. Okay? So remember that analytical exposition text is a part of argumentative text, but from one perspective only. Okay, now we go on to the generic structure of an analytical exposition text. What is that? Okay, the generic structure of the analytical exposition text has three parts. The first one is thesis. Thesis, it means that the writers introduce the topic. There is the opening paragraph. Remember that the thesis is always in the first paragraph. In these parts, also the writers state her or his position about the topics. Okay, in these parts also the writers give from one perspective only about the topics. The second one is the arguments. Okay, the analytical exposition text, it can be 1, 2, or 3 arguments about the topics that are discussed. Okay, the more arguments, the better is the paragraph or the topic. Okay, in this part, the writer elaborates arguments, giving the evidence or giving the more example about the topics. The third one is reiteration or as conclusion. In this part, the reiteration means that the writer restate again about the thesis, restate again about her decision or her perspective about the topic. It means that the reiterations almost same with the thesis, but the difference is in the reiterations, the writers give the conclusion, her strong decisions about the topic, that the topic is really need to get attention. Okay, now we go on to the example of analytical exposition text in our daily life. In our daily life, we can find this type of text. Where is it? Yes, if you have ever to read a newspaper, also you will find in editorial text. It is belongs to analytical exposition text. Okay, so if the writers write her arguments in editorial, it belongs to the arguments. It belongs to the analytical exposition text. And where else? Okay, we can find also the example of analytical exposition text in advertisement. Okay, as you know that many advertisements is persuade the readers or persuade the viewers to buy the products. So advertisements is belong to an analytical exposition text. Okay, now we go on to the language features of the analytical exposition text. What is that? Here it is. The first one is simple present tense. Simple present is the most tense that is appeared in analytical exposition text. Do you still remember what is simple present? Yes. The characteristic of the simple present is using as, eas, or as in the verbs if the subject is she, he, it, and singular persons. And then the second one is using sequence of conjunctions. Sequence of conjunctions, for example, firstly, secondly, thirdly, finally, next, and then, okay, that is the part of the sequence of conjunctions. And the third is using evaluating word. Evaluating word, for example, important, significant, very good, okay. And the verb is using compound and complex sentences. Do you still remember about it? Compound and complex sentences is using two main clauses. Compound and complex sentences which have the two main clauses, that is use also conjunction but, and, or, something like that. Okay, now we go on to the part of how to write a text of an analytical exposition text. The first one is you have to know better about the topics. Okay, the first one is you have to know better and you have the previous knowledge about the topic that you want to be discussed. And then you have to know or to read more to get the more example or to get the more evidence about the topic. And then after that, you elaborate your arguments in three parts. For example, the first argument, what is your first argument, and give the evidence. And then what is your second argument, give the evidence and elaborate them. And then you give the third argument and so on. And then in parts of reiterations, in this part, you restate again your position or restate again your thesis about the topic.
Okay, now we go on to the example of an analytical exposition text. Okay, look at the title, Plastic Bag Should Be Banned. Okay, from the title, we know that is the part of the argumentative text. Okay, let's see the first paragraph. Remember, the first paragraph in analytical exposition text is always called as a thesis. Okay, in this part, the writers tells or introduce about the topics and also the opening of the paragraph. And also in this part, the writers shows his perspective about the topic. Okay, so the red one, all the red one of the sentences is called of the thesis. Okay, let me read it. I believe that plastic bags should be banned. Many people would agree that they are unhealthy for our environment. It is damaging our wildlife on land and on sea and needs to be taken control of. Okay, that is called as a thesis. The writers introduce about the thesis that plastic bags should be banned, and then shows his perspective that many people would agree that they are unhealthy for our environment. The sentence shows the perspective of the writers. Let's see the second argument. Okay, let's see the second argument and read the red sentences. Plastic bags are polluting our world and no one is doing anything to help. This is the first argument why we should stop using plastic bags. Okay, so the writers tell us the first arguments or the first reason why we should stop using plastic bags. That is because plastic bags are polluting our world and no one is doing anything to help. And in this paragraph also the writers give the evidence or elaborating her argument about it. For example, he says that there are many plastic bags or many littering in pathways, many suburban streets, and other many places. Okay, now we go on to the next paragraph. In this paragraph, the third paragraph, it is called as the second argument. Let's see the red sentences. It is the main idea of this paragraph. Why can people use green bags? It is belong to the argument of the writers that ask the readers to use green bags. Let's see the fourth paragraph. It is called as the third argument. Finally, and most importantly, our beautiful oceans are being destroyed and marine animals are becoming endangered, all because of the plastic bags. It is very clear in this part the writer tells the reasons why we should stop using plastic bags. And the writers also tell us about the danger or the damage that we will got by using plastic bags. Okay, now we go on to the last paragraph. The last paragraph, it calls as the reiteration or the conclusion. For many reasons, I am strongly in favor of banning plastic bags to help our precious environment. It is clear to see that plastic bags are a threat to our world. I sincerely hope you have thought twice about using plastic bags. In this part, the writer restates again his position or perspective about that we must stop using plastic bags.
Okay, that's all about explanation about an analytical exposition text. I hope you learned something about it, and I hope you can understand about an analytical exposition text. Remember once again that an analytical exposition text is about the text from one perspective only. That is about argumentative text. Okay, so analytical exposition text is telling about the arguments about something, about phenomena, about the events surrounding us. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for your attention. I hope you understand about analytical exposition text. See you. Goodbye.